bears are still hanging around the pond. Roddy and Emily approach us for food almost every time we make an appearance.
There's your muskrat. Towards the deer a lot.
Let's see.
We don't see the beavers often these days, but the muskrats make their presence apparent. It's easy to hear how the towhee got its name. Lately, its towhee call is heard throughout the sanctuary. If you listen closely, you can hear one in the background singing, "Drink your tea." And he will respond with, "Drink tea." There are many hermit thrushes around, but their shy and timid personality renders a good observation difficult to acquire. We were lucky enough to come upon this uncharacteristically brazen individual.
He's not very shy.
They can be distinguished from other similar thrushes by the complete eye ring and the rust-colored tail. They spend much of their time in the understory, foraging for invertebrates such as insects and worms. Often, they will habitually tap their feet against the ground. Some suspect this is a behavior seen in other animals known as worm stomping, in which the taps mimic the sound of rain and attract worms to the surface. Notice him flipping leaves over in search of a snack. Hermit thrushes have 3 vocalizations: a song, which is a series of flute-like notes of similar phrases repeated at different pitches, and 2 calls, the tuck calls and the way calls. I do not have a recording of their song, but this hermit thrush was making both its calls. The tuck call, not to be confused with the chink of the cardinal in the background. and the way call. And again. The songs of field sparrows have been ubiquitous in our fields, but only on occasion do they visit our bird feeders. Song sparrows are a regular customer, however.
See that face off they do?
Here we have 3 northern flickers, probably scuffling over territory. Flickers are one of the largest woodpeckers in our region. If you look closely, you can see the black mustache indicating that all 3 are males. The female would lack this mustache. There are 2 races of flicker, the red-shafted of the west and the yellow-shafted of the east. When they fan their tails, it becomes apparent that these are the yellow-shafted. We found the remains of a depredated flicker. On the left is a yellow-shafted flight feather, and on the right, the breast feather. There are still hundreds of blackbirds inhabiting this sanctuary. It seems that some starlings are taking an interest in what was intended to be a gray-crested flycatcher box, but we would be more than happy to provide a suitable nesting site for starlings as well. Turkeys are around, but very evasive. We found a few turkey feathers in a field, and this turkey casualty in another. While exploring all the amphibian eggs in the vernal pool one day, I flushed up a mallard. Upon closer examination, I noticed she had a nest. It is amazing how well camouflaged she is. We will now have to avoid the vernal pond until the ducklings hatch, as to avoid any interference with the incubation of the nest. There are 9 eggs. American toads were making a ruckus early in the week. Whirligigs made an appearance. The muskrat found a favorite pipe to mark. I'm having difficulties right now, but still plan to identify the fish inhabiting the pond. Green frog tadpoles are busy foraging on detritus. And a few days after hearing the chorus of the toads, we found their eggs. The rodents and rabbits have been active. And so have the invertebrates. This is the tent of tent caterpillars. It's fairly small, but larger ones can wreak havoc on the trees. They typically prefer cherries. It's amazing how still garter snakes can be, and how well camouflaged they are. It is thought that snakes will waver their heads back and forth in order to gain depth perception. And there he disappears into the forest floor. Garter snakes can move quite fast, especially on an empty stomach. It is likely that the 6 I saw this afternoon had just awakened from their hibernation. Males usually wake up from their winter hibernation before females in order to prepare for breeding. All the snakes I've seen this afternoon appear to be males. Females would have been about twice the girth as these are. The common garter snake is amongst the most commonly seen and has a wide distribution of both range and habitats throughout North America. They most typically feed on small amphibians and earthworms, but will also take other prey. We led an Earth Day tour on Saturday. It gave us a chance to show people the projects we're undertaking. It was a little bit chilly, but we still had a small crowd show up. We got to interact with some really great people, and we had a really great time. While digging holes to erect another birdhouse, we noticed some interesting deposits. About 2 feet down there was sand, and another foot after that was clay. Wild leeks have really blanketed the forest floor. Many flowers are blooming. The gardens at the animal sanctuary sure look great. Fiddleheads are starting to pop up, although we're not quite familiar enough with ferns yet to confidently identify every single fiddlehead. We noticed a beautiful species of horsetail. And we've been watching this beautiful juniper haircat moss. It's fascinating how much different it looks in the cool, wet mornings than in the hot, dry afternoons. And we've noticed some delicate fern moss putting out spores. And a scarlet elf cup. Our tree order arriving was a great end to the week, and we have plantings to look forward to in the coming weeks.